Welcome to the fourth and final part in our series on conditionals. I'm Justin Koo. To briefly recap what we've covered so far, recall that we began with the question of what conditional sentences like one mean. If the safety net needs repair, I will fix it. So far, we tackled this question by thinking about the conditions under which one would be true or false. Thus, we treated one as similar in this respect to two, the cat is on the mat. Two makes a categorical claim about the cat, saying that it is on the mat. It describes the world as such that the cat is on the mat. So it is true just if the cat is on the mat. Similarly, according to the material and strict conditional theories, one also categorically describes the world as being some way. According to the material conditional theory, one is true just if either its antecedent is false or its consequent is true. According to the strict conditional theory, one is true just if it is impossible for its antecedent to be true and its consequent false. Both theories face the problem of making it too easy for conditionals to be true, especially in cases in which their antecedents are false, either actually or necessarily. However, notice that our assumption that one is just like two in expressing a categorical claim about the way the world is might be rejected. To see why, consider what happens when we make bets on conditionals. Suppose that I bet you $5 that, if it rains tomorrow, the baseball game will be canceled. And suppose that you accept. Let's now consider under what conditions we would owe each other money. We can use the following betting outcome table, which is analogous to a truth table from before. Notice that on line 1, which represents the outcome of rain and a canceled match, you owe me $5. On line 2, which represents the outcome of rain and a non-canceled match, I owe you $5. This much should be unsurprising. However, notice that on lines 3 and 4, which represent the outcome of no rain tomorrow, neither of us owes the other anything. One way to think of it is that, in that case, the bet is called off. Another way to think of it is that our bet only binds us on the condition of rain. The question of who wins or loses doesn't arise if it doesn't rain. Let's summarize our observation here by noting that to bet on this conditional is to make a conditional bet that the game will be canceled on the condition of it raining tomorrow. Notice that making a conditional bet is not the same as making a categorical bet. A categorical bet is automatically binding. If accepted, it ensures that someone will win and someone will lose. Suppose I bet you $5 that the cat is entirely, let's say, on the mat, and you accept. Then you owe me $5 if the cat is in fact entirely on the mat, and I owe you $5 if the cat isn't entirely on the mat. This categorical bet ensures a winner and loser. But conditional bets are not like that. They are conditional on their antecedents, and if their antecedents are false, there are no winners or losers. Our final theory says that uttering a conditional is like making a conditional bet rather than a categorical bet. We call this the conditional assertion theory of conditionals, since according to it, when I utter a conditional, I do not make a categorical assertion, but rather a conditional assertion. To spell out what this means, we need to say more about the difference between categorical and conditional assertion. In what follows, when I say assertion, understand me as meaning categorical assertion. When I assert to you that the cat is on the mat, I express that I believe that the cat is on the mat, and I try to get you to share that belief. Another way to think of it is that, in asserting this, I commit myself to it being true that the cat is on the mat. We could put it this way: to assert something is to try to get others to believe it by committing yourself to its being true. To understand what a conditional assertion is, it's helpful to keep in mind the difference between categorical and conditional bets here. An assertion is like a bet in many ways. To assert that the cat is on the mat is to commit yourself to its being true that the cat is on the mat, just as to bet that the cat is on the mat is to place a wager that the cat is on the mat. A conditional assertion is like a conditional bet. To conditionally assert that the match will be canceled on the condition of rain is to commit yourself to it being true that the match is canceled, but only on the condition of rain, and make no commitments otherwise. Notice that this is just like making a conditional bet. To bet that the match will be cancelled on the occasion of rain is to wager that the match will be cancelled, but only on the condition of rain, and make no wager otherwise. A crucial and important difference between the conditional assertion theory and the other two theories we've considered is that on the conditional assertion theory, we think of the meaning of the conditional sentence in terms of what we do when we utter it, namely, make a conditional assertion. This is just the opposite from the material and strict conditional theories. According to them, we think of the meaning of the conditional sentence in terms of the meanings of its smaller parts, its antecedent and consequent. We can helpfully compare the two kinds of theories by seeing what the truth table would look like according to the conditional assertion theory. The most natural way to do so is to translate our betting outcome table back into a truth table as follows. Notice that we get to the truth values of the sentence 3 by considering what someone uttering 3 is thereby asserting or committing herself to. According to the theory, someone uttering 3 is asserting that the match will be cancelled, but only on the condition of rain, and not asserting anything otherwise. That is why the sentence is true on the first line, false on the second. But what about the third and fourth lines, which represent the case in which it doesn't rain? Well, in a sense, the question doesn't arise on the conditional assertion theory. Since someone uttering 3 doesn't commit themselves one way or the other on the condition that it doesn't rain tomorrow, it doesn't seem that either true or false would be correct on those lines. At best, maybe we should think that the conditional is neither true nor false in that case. That's an interesting difference between the conditional assertion theory and the material and strict conditional theories. Let's turn now to the question of how the conditional assertion theory fares with respect to the problems facing the previous theories. Consider 4 again. If the earth is flat, I will win the lottery tomorrow. According to the theory, someone who utters 4 asserts that they will win the lottery, but only on the condition that the earth is flat. So, since the earth isn't flat, they in fact assert nothing. In other words, they don't commit themselves either way on whether they will win the lottery tomorrow. Similar remarks apply to the Goldbach conjecture problem facing the strict conditional theory. On the one hand, this is a significant advance over the previous two theories. However, no philosophical theory is uncontroversial, and I want to leave you with one potential problem facing the conditional assertion theory. Recall our proof of the existence of God from before. It's false that if God exists, then God doesn't exist. Therefore, God exists. This was a problem for the material conditional theory because it predicts this argument is valid, but intuitively it's not. My challenge to the conditional assertion theory is that it seems to also predict that this argument is valid. Here's why. Look back at the truth table we got from the conditional assertion theory. Notice that there's an F only on one line, line 2, where the conditional's antecedent is true and its consequent is false. This means that according to the theory, the only way for the conditional to be false is if its antecedent is true and consequent false, and so the theory should also predict that this proof is valid for the same reason that the material conditional theory does. Hence, the conditional assertion theory seems to be in the same boat as the material conditional theory, incorrectly predicting that this argument for the existence of God is valid. What do you think? I hope you've enjoyed learning about conditionals, and as I'm sure you can now imagine, there's plenty more to think about. If you're interested in learning more about conditionals, I recommend Dorothy Edgington's Stanford Encyclopedia.